snare. I'm sorry. It has to go.
So you're going to just completely remove it?
Yeah, it's just, it needs more balls, you know? Like the mix, this is a really heavy hitting thing. So let's go back to our snare trigger and let's go find a cool sample. Like I said, we're going to use the rooms to get a lot of the snare body and tone and dynamic, and we're going to get a lot of the punch from the trigger. So let's just trigger it. I'm going to listen to the natural snare for a second. Is memorizing the tone of that, so now when I go look for a sample, I'm going to find a drum that sounds like that drum. I think Snare 11 is my favorite. That already to me has a little bit more of like the excitement and the punch and the attack and the tone, because to me it sounds still kind of natural, because I'm not gonna, it doesn't really need a lot of post EQ, but it doesn't need it to be super low endy either. So I'm gonna kind of keep it in and now try to work in some of the rooms with the kick. The other thing is too, the kick is actually irritating me. I don't think that this kick, which is normally one of my favorite kicks for a lot of metal mixes, like I love this kick. That's why it's like a go-to start. I'm going to switch this out because I feel like the kick needs a little bit more, it needs to be more brutal. Like that's the only way I can explain it. And well, I think the attack of it is awesome. I want it to lock in more with the frequency of the bass, and I want a little bit more like 50 hertz in my sub. I'm going to put my bass above my sub, hence why I've got it high passed at 50, and I'll probably end up going to like 75 or 80 or something like that.
I mean, who would have thought the 1970s Thibes acrylic kick drum would be used in a song like this?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, this whatever magic wizardry Eyal did on this kick drum when he mixed this, man, it's gangster. You know, it sounds really good. But for this mix, it's not what I want. So let me just scroll through some kicks. I'm gonna try one other one. Let me go, let's try kick forging, because I need to look at a wide variety of kick drums here, and let's see what we can pull out of this. Kick forge, you need to realize, I probably don't know this, is it doesn't really need to be clipped because it's already pre-clipped, hence how it's so aggressive sounding. So I may not need to clip too much. Gonna kick it up a little bit. And the first thing I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna go fishing through some presets and just hear what some different stuff sounds like. No. No.
No.
No. You know, I know that's a very Colin Richardson sounding kick, but I don't think it, I don't know, man. I want something more like modern. No, no, no. Let me check the low end of headphones real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this kick, and I'll tell you why. This kick has got a lot of sub here. The sub is tight. I'm actually gonna tighten it up because of the speed of the music and the harmonics. It's really interesting because the harmonics changes the attack of the kick a little bit, but it also makes the sub, I feel like, a little bit tighter because it's very distorted sounding. So for a fast thing where you got a lot of brrrr on the kick, I don't like a looser sub, and I feel like the harmonics tightens that up. So do we want to go robo kick or do we want to go...
Audience is saying Colin Richardson kick.
Colin Richardson kick?
Whichever one that one was.
Too bad I'm mixing it, not them. You guys had your chance.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, this tool is kind of unique. You know, not everyone probably has this tool, but it's so good for really being able to choose like any kick sound that you are after, especially for aggressive, you know, modern style productions, because you're not just choosing a sample, you're kind of choosing like a multitude of samples and how they interact with each other. So it's really cool.
Yeah, the thing is that I like about this kick, and I'll explain to the audience why I'm actually using this kick, because I like the Colin kick. Like, that's what you would expect to hear. You know what I mean? Like, very clicky, not a lot of sub. But Colin Richardson isn't mixing this. I'm mixing this, and my style is a little bit more hyped. Like, I like to push my subs a little bit harder in something like this. So, you know, I want a kick that's more like Attila, to be honest, which isn't, you wouldn't think is appropriate for this, but there's something I like about when I hear the low end, when I'm switching through it immediately grabs me and I go, yes, like it has a certain like scoopedness to it.
Yeah.
And it's just like really brutal sounding. Like it really, I don't know, and like the really aggressive like death metal kind of stuff. There's a mix that I love, and it's a Through the Eyes of the Dead record mixed by Eric Rutan, maybe 2007 or 8. And one thing I love about that kick is it's just so subby, and it really makes the whole thing sound super powerful. So
as long as the subs are controlled too.
Yeah,
you know.
no, it's very tight. And the thing is we can automate sustain and the mix and stuff, but I'm actually... has that push, but the click isn't super high, and I feel like it locks a little bit tighter in with the bass than what I had. I mean, you can go fishing. There's just something about that top that, to me, works in my mind with the guitars and stuff like that. So I'll keep it off of one shot. I'm not going to do any post or anything like that, but I'm liking that a lot more. So sorry for the haters.
Haters gonna hate.
You know, the other thing that switching that kick sample and that snare in, now the drums are sounding really good to me, is it's exposing the weakness in the guitar tone. So like when I hear this, I'm like, man, I need to work a lot on my guitars. Now my guitars don't sound so good anymore. Like I thought I had them sounding pretty good earlier when I had the more natural drums, but now that the mix is just a little bit more like hyped, it definitely...
It's like a molding process.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's bring in some room, some natural snare. So